Today in the crypto space, we see Bitcoin reaching higher levels at 67,000 and a quarter, up approximately 7%. Ethereum also climbing to higher levels right around that $3,600 mark. The rest of the crypto space see altcoins. There's some great gainers. The dog coins are still doing very well. Doge, Sheep, Bonk, just to name a few. And some altcoins, Cardano, Matic, BTT, and many more. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk to you about one altcoin that looks like it's ready to break out, and that project is called ZIL. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. And of course, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here. We see the total market cap rising. It's at $2.6 trillion. Around the $3 trillion mark is where we reach all-time highs, which is, interesting because Bitcoin is almost at all-time highs already, just its price. So what that means is there's needs a little bit more growth in other projects, right, to catch up and allow the total to basically reach that 3 trillion. And you can, based on that quick calculation, who else or what else can we expect to run? And it's the altcoins. I'm expecting the altcoins to catch up to Bitcoin, and eventually we should see Ethereum show some more strength against Bitcoin. The Bitcoin dominance could fall. But ultimately, as long as we see Bitcoin rising to higher levels, Ethereum at least trying to keep up and go sideways, eventually Bitcoin should kind of slow down and allow the altcoins to catch up, led by Ethereum. Right now, we see Bitcoin's up 6%, almost breaking out of previous highs, all-time highs for that matter, and getting into potential price discovery. The next 24 hours should be quite interesting. Does Bitcoin get a rejection? And if it does, guys, not looking good for the altcoins. But however, if it does break out with some good conviction, guys, this market is going to be red hot. So let's continue going down here. We see Ethereum doing good against Bitcoin. Obviously not as strong, but still doing okay, not really falling behind too bad. And personally speaking, I like Ethereum's setup better, but both are getting in very frothy zones where a pullback could happen any moment. So be careful getting into fresh longs at the moment. We have Solana down approximately 2%, but XRP is climbing. We have a few others. Staked ETH is doing pretty good, 2.6% to the upside. Cardano 5% up. Dogecoin another 20%. Sheep killing it, another 43%. AVAX going sideways, waiting maybe to get its turn. I'm hoping that AVAX, Algorand, even Polkadot looks primed, ready to break out. Guys, today I wanted to talk about Polkadot, and that was a toss between Polkadot and Zilliqa. Today we're going to be talking about Zilliqa, showing you the chart. Obviously, we'll take a look at the rest of the market here. We'll take a look at Bitcoin, and then we'll talk about Zilliqa. But I was really, contemplating on whether I should talk about Polkadot, because both Zilliqa and DOT are pretty much in the same position, ready to start breaking out, and it could happen any moment now. So be prepared for that one. ZIL is doing good, and so is Polkadot. Let's continue going down here. Chainlink kind of going sideways. Polygon doing okay, grinding to the upside. Of course, anything Bitcoin related should be doing pretty good. We have ICP taking a bit of a pullback, 3%. Filecoin, doing good. Filecoin has been doing great. Taking a pullback along the way is absolutely fine. Maybe a pullback in continuation. Near Protocol grinding away slowly, doing its thing. I feel like this is another one that we should be watching out for a big breakout soon. Could be very possible. I'm surprised that Stacks is not running alongside Bitcoin. Now, it could be just the fact that Stacks at the end of the day is an altcoin. And a lot of the times what happens here is that individuals start seeing Bitcoin run and they say, you know what, let me get my capital out of the altcoins and put them in Bitcoin now that it's running, because ultimately that's where the action is at, right? So as soon as Bitcoin shows us a signal that the action is over, we could see a distribution, or we're going to potentially see a cycle right back, the capital cycle right back into altcoins, giving these altcoins a nice pump. So that's what I'm expecting here, guys. We have XLM looking pretty good, 9% to the upside, HBAR kind of going sideways within structure at the current moment. OP coming down to lower levels, 5.3% to the downside, not looking good. I don't like the price action currently, the way it looks, but as long as it doesn't break a lower low, guys, we're still okay. Kaspa coming down 5.5%. Is the market de-risking here on Kaspa, given the fact that it has been running for a good while here? Kaspa has been one of the best performing assets in this entire rally here. So Kaspa taking a bit of a break is not a bad idea here. It's down 7% in the last 7 days, while a lot of the altcoins are running. OKB up 11.5%. VeChain going sideways. I also feel like VeChain is a sleeping giant, and as we see it become a lot more difficult to find bottom dwelling altcoins, meaning altcoins that are at the bottom of the range, we kind of start looking at other projects, right? Like VeChain and in this case Polkadot and Zilliqa and so on that we've been talking about, and they're older projects but still ecosystems that have been thriving and working through the bear market, and no doubt should get a bit of a pop to the upside. So I'm keeping my eye on that one, and as a larger cap, the volatility wouldn't be that crazy. So that's an interesting idea here, is to be looking for those bottom dwellers. We have Pepe definitely running 350% in 7 days, guys. Good stuff for Pepe. And if we continue going down, we see Bonk also doing good, another 200% in the last 7 days. Rocket Pool, ETH. So I'm seeing that ETH projects are doing okay, because ETH is doing okay as well. Now, could we get a better opportunity? I think it might happen that we could see a bit of a pullback once in a while here happening, especially based on Bitcoin coming down, but not just yet. There's absolutely no sign of weakness in the market at the current moment. TIA, I'm looking for an entry. This is coming down potentially to some good horizontal levels of support. I may cover this one tonight live, so feel free to join. And of course, that is a great time and place to make those requests. If you're interested in any projects, that's a good time to make those requests. But TIA right now, Celestia is looking primed, looking good for a potential buy opportunity. We have Quant waking up a little bit, 130. It hovered around the $100 mark for a good while. So up to 30% or 21% is not bad here. Are we taking a bit of a break? Yes, it's down 12%, but it's been a great runner. So you know what, a bit of a breather's okay. Ortiz climbing up here with Bitcoin. Phantom broke out after the video, guys. If you watched my video on Phantom, I gave you the signal nice and early, ready to go. This thing broke up 42% to the upside in the last 7 days. It's up 6.5% for today, and you know it did take a bit of a break, but nonetheless, guys, it's still a great move to the upside. So consider protecting those gains. Whatever strategy you use, you want to walk away profitable to protect those gains. And if we keep on going down, Floki's been a great mover, 300% on Floki, not bad. My bag is doing pretty good there. Dog Whiff Hat, another 230%. Good stuff there. And if we keep on going down, guys, this list, there are some that are taking a bit of a break, but there are a lot that are still running and doing very well. There's no sign of weakness in this market just yet. In my opinion, I wouldn't be shorting. I wouldn't be shorting anything. I wouldn't be taking heavy profits either. Wait for structure, wait for some sort of signal of a weakness, and then start getting aggressive with the profit taking. If anything, if you've seen any projects run up significantly in the last little while, you know, DCA out. That's a safe bet. Slow and steady, get in. Slow and steady, get out. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts. Let's begin. We'll talk about Bitcoin and use it as a leading indicator, and then we'll talk about ZIL. ZIL at the end of the day has been doing great, but look at Bitcoin. It's definitely in the spotlight, and we can see it pretty much testing previous highs. We broke out of this level, and after it broke out of this last horizontal, in my opinion, that's when I said, guys, we're likely to reach all-time highs and potentially get into price discovery, and it happened exactly. So let's see what's going on here in a little bit more detail. If you think about it, the last level of resistance here for Bitcoin is right now. If it's going to get a rejection, it's got to get a rejection right now. Now we can start talking about extension levels. We can start talking about, you know, psychological levels. The $100,000 mark is definitely a psychological level that we need to consider, because you know a lot of people are looking at that $100,000 mark, maybe even 120. But if we use extension levels, these use our Fibonacci swing high to swing low, and we'll take the big picture extension, and you can see that we're going to reach that 1.618, the 1.27 very, very easily within confluence, and you can see that this zone is a very hot zone. So what I'm going to do right now that we're here, not to say that we're going to go there, but look, the way things are looking, it could be possible, and it's all going to be based on short squeeze. At the end of the day, a lot of people might be shorting that top. If that happens and the price keeps on grinding to the upside, we'll get that squeeze and we'll get that pop, and it's likely to hit that 1.27, which is at about more or less 85,000, and then of course the 1.618 at about 100, more or less. Okay, so this is what we have to understand, is that if we get to those zones, especially the $100,000 level, I would be front running and taking a bit of profits and, you know, doing my thing to protect my gains. But right now the battlefield is right here. Do we actually break above the $69,000 mark and start breaking up to price discovery zones? And it's possible here, guys. The only issue is getting into a fresh long at the moment, is the fact that we are very overextended in all aspects of traditional technical analysis. Pretty much overbought in all the time frames. Bearish divergences have gotten invalidated, but we can check out those lower time frames. But the MACDs looking still bullish, EMAs, and now they're lagging indicators. We got to understand that. You know, the indications that we get from these oscillators are slightly behind the price action. But what can we say here? Look at this weekly, guys. Green candle this week has been so green, doing pretty good. Let's get into the daily. The daily broke out really nicely. No bearish divergence right there. And we're at, you know, at previous highs, pretty much all-time highs. And we're not getting any bearish divergence as we speak, even on these, right? We may have some bearish divergence right here where we are with these two tops, but the likelihood of it getting invalidated is quite high here, guys. Let's look at the 4-hour. We're still not done with this move, right? This move could continue, and that's the reality. Now, if you plan on shorting, there's no edge for a short position. Let me zoom in here a little bit. There's no edge for a short position. We're making higher highs on the price action, and right now the RSIs in overbought conditions, the MACDs, EMAs are facing up with green histogram bars, guys, in the bullish control zone, which suggests that the trend is strong. The trend is currently our friend. So what are we going to do here? In my opinion, no fresh longs, no fresh shorts. If your positions are in, that's great. You got in at lower levels. You got to protect those gains and just let this ride as best as you can so that you can maximize your profit. If we get into all-time highs in price discovery, that's when you're going to have to come up with some sort of plan to protect those gains, and then expect some sort of update here on this channel. All right, guys, let's move on. That's Bitcoin. That's all we could say. Just be careful out there, because now's not the time to get very, very risky. Time to be defensive. All right, let's take a look at ZIL. Zilliqa, on the other hand, as you can see, we're on the 4-hour, you know, has been running as well. We've been slightly overbought on the 4-hour. You can see the RSI pretty much overbought, not in an extreme way just yet, and that leads me to believe that it's very possible. So let's get out of the 4-hour here for a second, and let's begin this analysis on the weekly. Why? Because I've noticed the trend. The trend is that a lot of these projects, a lot of the TA wants to get overbought on the weekly time frame. And so be it, guys, because that's a very bullish thing to see, especially if we expect the altcoins to catch up to Bitcoin. As Bitcoin got overbought on the weekly and overbought on the daily and so on and so forth, we expect altcoins to get there as well. And ZIL has yet to really break out of its bottom structure. So we're a bit early here. If you see, we're still kind of going sideways within, you know, accumulation range. The only issue is right now we're at the top of the range here on the weekly. You can see these previous highs are there. We have the 200 weekly EMA ready to act as resistance for this breakout to get rejected. So the only thing now that you have is the protection that you have is your entry. Your entry, you know, where I entered this market is at about 2 cents, 2.1 cents, more or less, a little bit lower, right around here. The yellow boxes here on my charts are entry zones, and we came down for that confirmation low, the higher low as a back test, and for me that was the exact moment that I saw this is the time that I need to start taking risk, and I got into a position here, and all of a sudden we broke the previous high, the local high, which is great because now we can confirm a bit of a trend, higher highs, higher lows. But guess where we are right now? We're trying to break a bit of character in this structure by breaking above these highs right here. Guys, these are the last level of resistance for ZIL, for Zilliqa to actually break out of this structure, out of this bottom dwelling structure, to actually get to some real big picture resistance zones, which for me really begin at about 5.4 cents, and the volume gap could take you all the way up to about 6.7 cents. Now, I know this is a really big picture thing here, and you can see that the weekly RSI is not even overbought just yet. Now, again, it is a lagging indicator, for that matter, could already be overbought, but we didn't even get in there in an extreme way. So we're a little bit in overbought conditions. I'm expecting a little bit like this. I'm expecting the RSI to get into something that looks like this. Okay, now if that happens, you can expect some really good gains here on ZIL, because look what happened in the past. Dip, up, dip, back up. So even if we don't get as high as 87%, that's okay. Even 80% is absolutely fine. We could still make a higher high and break out of this zone and make some really, really good gains here. So be very patient. Look at the MACD here on the weekly. EMAs facing up, green histogram bars ready to go to get into the bullish control zone. We spent a lot of time in the bear zone. It's time to get into the bullish control zone and see Zilliqa break out. And remind you, there are a lot of projects that are still bottom dwelling, waiting for their moment. So ZIL looks primed, ready to go to get its chance. Right, let's get on the daily quick. We see the daily EMAs are looking great. Green histogram bars to the upside. What else do you expect from this? We're still in the, you can see the tight range that this momentum is showing here on the trend. You know, it's very, very tight. We need to get into an expansion very soon, and as we see the market conditions, the probability is we're going to be expanding to the upside. Okay, so let's look at the price action here real quick. We're overbought also on the daily, so getting into a fresh long at this current moment based on daily time frames, I do see the risk. The risk is getting rejected off these previous highs. And as a range trader, I can imagine somebody saying, look, you're buying the top. And it's true, because this is currently a breakout zone. We want to break above these two tops in order to get into some weak spots in the chart so that we can see this thing fly. This is the risk that you take currently. Not buying bottoms, you start buying tops for breakouts. That's why I really emphasize significantly the buying of the bottom range and buying those back tests. And of course, I gave you guys a signal on the Discord and live many times to be looking into ZIL, because ZIL is looking primed, and all of a sudden now we're looking for a top breakouts, which is still a great opportunity. Just understand that the risk is there that we get rejected here, and the 4 hours looking okay. EMAs are still facing up, green, nice and green, and the RSI not bad. Let's jump right into the 4 hour. And you can see back how we started. How we started is basically looking at this 4 hour and seeing, did we get into any extreme zones here on the RSI just yet? Extreme zones are usually when we get into the zone and we see green in the RSI. So let me go back onto the daily so you can potentially see, if I get an opportunity, you can see here there's a bit of green here in the RSI. Well, on the 4 hour, we barely even got to that level. We've got a bit of green here and that's it. But this consolidation is staying overbought for a good amount of time here, and we need that spike to the upside here to actually get into some really good price action. So what I'm looking for here at the end of the day is for it to maintain and start getting to an extreme zone, lots of good volume into this level. The MACD slow grinding to the upside, nice and steadily. Okay, bit of confusion, like I said. Right now we're at a breakout zone, so you can anticipate a bit of hesitation before it continues to the upside. But really, the 4 hour, the daily, and the weekly are all looking really good here for ZIL, and I'm expecting it to eventually break out of this range. Now, again, we could come right back down and get another back test, another confirmation low, coming down to about 2.7 cents, testing this previous low and getting into this little bit of a volume gap. For me, that would be another opportunity to scale in and basically accumulate more of a bag, because if you start looking at what's happening here, all this market participation here at the bottom of the range is preparing for the breakout. It's preparing for the big move, which is the break above 3.5 cents and entering this volume gap if it's lucky enough to get to the top. Of course, that's the next level where I would be de-risking 100%, taking profits off the table. ZIL right now is being primed for a breakout. And again, guys, it's about staying one step ahead of the market. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor. Slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. And of course, I'm going to be live tonight at 7:30 Eastern talking about crypto news and price action. And if you have any projects that you want me to talk about, that is a great time and place to make those requests. Guys, join that Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.